So a lot of you probably hear the word relational database. You may wonder what that is, or what Microsoft Access is, or why the heck do I need these types of things in the first place. So I'm just going to take you through a real quick demo. There's some spreadsheets and an Access application that I kind of threw together really quick just to kind of give you an idea of what a database is and why you need it. And by database, I'm referring to a relational database, and I'll show you what I mean by relational in just a few minutes. So let's take a typical business where you're selling things. In this case, technology. They're selling laptops and desktops, tablets, phones, etc. Technology sales. So you might have a spreadsheet that keeps track of costs, of the price of your items and the total and things like that. And this is all fine and good. You have all the information in here. Everything's all in one place. If someone needs to locate their order, you can certainly look them up and find that information. The problem is that there is a lot of repeated data. So there's a lot of redundant data. Suppose, for example, that Dominic Kessler moves from Madison, Florida to Miami, Florida. Well, if you go in and change, okay, but now there's still a lot of Madisons left here. You have to search the entire thing. Looks like there's only those two. I'm going to change this one back. But you have a lot of redundant data. If someone changes their name or changes their, I don't think I put phone numbers in this table, but if they change their phone number, if a piece of data changes for one of them, you have to do a search and replace for all the other records. Cameron Jennings has a lot of entries in here. Everything is the same up to this column. So you see there's just a lot of redundancy here. So what a relational database does is we take the information and we do a process called normalization. So here's one thing we could do. We can take the customers and orders and split them up. So we made a second set of tables here. We put all the customers. So this is just a list of all the customers. Every customer is there once. If someone changes their address, I only have to change it in one place. So that's good. And we added another column here. This is what we call a primary key, a customer ID number, because I have the orders in a separate table. So now I have the order ID, and so if I need to look up Cameron Jennings orders, I could take the orders and look for customer 1512. But if any information from the customers table changes, his address, maybe someone changes their name, gets married, I only have to change it in this one place. So it's much more organized. Now, of course, even this orders table is not great because the different products, say the cost went up. Now, these are historical sales, so you wouldn't bring up the cost after the fact. But let's suppose you did. Again, if there was a mistake, if this was really $250, again, you'd still have to make that change multiple times. And you have another column here that's calculated based on these two other columns. You don't want to have that stored. So it's better than the original table layout, but still not great. That's the whole idea of normalization. It's to avoid redundancy and keep things more organized. Let's see how this would look in an Access database. So we could have an orders table, then the order lines, and then the products, and of course we have a customers table. I didn't open that one, but I'm going to show you something called relationships. So this is a diagram showing how the tables are related to each other. One customer ID can appear many times in the orders table because one customer can have many orders, but you'd only want them to exist once in the customers table. Order lines, well, one order ID can be made up of several order lines. One order line, well, one product can appear many times in the order lines table. So when you have this information, when you have it segmented out like this, customers to orders, to order lines, to products, now there's no redundancy. And in Access, you notice there's a little plus sign on here. because the orders table is related to the customers table, it's almost like nesting them. And again, if Penny Gordon changes her last name to Jones, there, I change it. Let me change that. I need to change her name in one place. And that's because of those relationships. Those relationships, again, I can take orders, do the same thing. 107 is made up of several order lines. 116 has a lot of order lines again. But again, if the order date was mistakenly entered, I don't have to change the order date in every single one of these order lines. I just have to change it in one place. Now, one other thing we can do, that's one advantage that Access gives you, is the ability to break out all these tables and relate them to each other. We don't have all sorts of repeated data. You can also build applications. You can build forms, and I'm going to finish this video with a form. Again, I put this form together in about 10-15 minutes. But what we have here is we can scroll through every customer in the database and you see their orders. This is very much like having the orders appear underneath the customers in the table. This is pretty much the same thing. And of course, we could go further than this. You could nest further, having an order ID, and then that nests further into a group of order lines. So you could go pretty deep with this. But what an Access database allows you to do is to organize the data better and have forms where you can easily enter, change, review data. Again, if Sharon Cavender changes her name, I only need to change it here. Change it once in the form and you're done. So that's how databases, relational databases, can really help you organize your data. And again, this form is something I threw together in a few minutes, but you can make these very sophisticated. We can do all sorts of searching, sorting, filtering. Let me bring up one more application that I've developed, a little more sophisticated, and that is, let's suppose we were running a school or college, and we needed to keep track of classes and sections and things like that to search for, let's say, a student, particularly. Then we could go to that student's form to enroll in a particular class. We can go to enrollment, and we go to the enrollment screen. Oh, look, we have that student already selected. Select a class, spring 2018. Jedi Trial Seminar, I guess they're ready. So, or we can add a new section. Winter 2018. Here are the subjects that are available in that quarter. English, which ones are available? English composition. So I just added the section, and I have enrolled them in it. Oh, no, I haven't enrolled them in it. It's just adding a section to the search screen. So the sky's the limit. I mean, I could do searching and sorting on these things. I could go back to the student list, and again, I can filter, I can search, I can sort by different fields, and you get the idea. You can do all sorts of sophisticated things with Access application, and it starts with organizing your data in a way that makes sense to you and is easy to work with and saves you time and saves you money, and that's the most important thing in the end.